No problem. So, again, welcome back, everybody. I was really looking forward to this. I'm glad we've got some more completed projects. So, we got someone else joining us. Is there anybody that would like to go first, or is it just free for all?
I don't mind going first.
All right. Well, Kelly, we'll let you go first.
Okay. I work at Nevada Learning Academy, and we are an online blended school. And this is our second year having middle school. We used to be virtual high school, and we blended with the independent study program, and then they threw in middle school last year. So I see my kids 2 days a week, and then they do their coursework online, and then we kind of supplement and enhance that with projects in class and hands-on activities. So I was fortunate enough that our computer teacher already does a coding class, and most of our kids had taken the coding class with her. So I didn't have to formally teach all of the code because most of them already knew a lot about it. So I presented it to my pre-algebra 8th grade kids, asked them what they really wanted to do with it, and they took it for our Pythagorean theorem module. And they actually were the ones that helped me build the entire lesson. So I didn't actually do a formal lesson with them, but we sat down, they helped me build the rubric, they helped me set up everything, and we talked about it from there. So I'll share with you kind of the documents that we created as we went through, and then I actually had a few of them finish their own projects for me. They've already turned them in. They're not turned them in, so I can share a few of those with you. Let me make sure I can share them. Okay. So can you see my Google Doc there?
Yes.
Okay. So this is just the introduction to their project. It just outlined what they had to do. So in their module, it just asked them to find the hypotenuse. If they knew 2 legs, find a leg if they knew the hypotenuse in another one, or use the converse, or use the Pythagorean theorem to find distance. So those were 4 of the big things covered. So they just had to pick at least one. And then I left it up to them how they wanted to design it, if they wanted to do a lesson and a tutorial, or if they wanted to do a game or activity. And that was just their basic intro page. Then they had to submit a little proposal to me and outline what they did or what they were planning on doing. So I knew that they were actually thinking about it and starting on it. So they had to tell me what topic. Then they had to tell me if they were going to remix one that they had already done in their coding class, if they were starting from scratch, or if they were going to work on something that they found in the Scratch community. Whether or not they were working alone or with a partner. What they wanted their project to do, and what they thought the most challenging part would be. So this is one that I got from one of my students. They chose to work on the converse. They did it from scratch. They did it as a joint project. 2 of them worked together, mainly because the second girl wasn't as strong in coding. She didn't feel as comfortable with it, so she chose to work with another student. And they just wanted to make a slideshow, and it ends up being just like yes or no, you push a button on it. So that's one of the project proposals. That was the rubric that we came up with. We actually sat down as a group and we talked about the things that should be in their project and what they felt needed to be the most important pieces, so that they kind of had a voice here and knew what needed to go into it. And then they're going to do a gallery walk in a week or so where they all share their projects with each other, and they're going to provide feedback. And I borrowed this from the Creative Computing Learner Workbook and just kind of edited and made it different for our class, but that was the main idea, came from there. So the big important thing is showing off their projects. So this is one of their projects that they created. So as you click the green button, it describes what the Pythagorean theorem is, tells them what a triple is, shows the a squared plus b squared equals c squared, gives another example and shows the math. and then you have to decide yes or no. So this one is a Pythagorean triple, so you click yes, and then the score increases. Click to go to the next one. This one also is a Pythagorean triple, but if you click no, it takes a point away from your score. They are working on this one yet, trying to fix it, because every time you click yes, your score increases. And they haven't figured out how to make that stop yet, so they're still fixing this one. Another project involved a little bit of a lesson. And he said that he had it working, and then he told me today he started playing with it and he thinks he broke it. So he's got to go back and fix this one. And then I have a third one. And this one's really long, so I won't go through the whole thing, but he's got all these instructions. It's kind of crazy how much he has in there. But he has all these little text boxes. He's got a tutorial option, and then he's got a practice option. So he actually went kind of crazy with this one. So I'm going to say yes, that we already know and we need to go to practicing.
Cool. That looks really good.
Yeah, so
I like the fact that the students took charge and decided to create them as opposed to them just kind of sitting back and letting you have to do all the work for them, let's say.
And the student that did this project, he actually said he really loved the coding class. He enjoyed it a lot, but he felt so much, he really liked the fact that he got to create a project from scratch that was his idea. It wasn't something the teacher was telling him he had to do or how to follow the steps, that he got to make whatever he wanted, and that he got to do it in another class so he could see the connection. So he was really excited about this and getting to do this, and he spent a long time on this. The code in this one, he kind of went a little crazy and did a ton of stuff, but he was really excited. So it was running there, and it was kind of saying, here's an example, and then he starts asking for you to put in legs. So this one actually does the calculations behind the scenes. So when you put in the leg, and then he asks for the hypotenuse, it makes it round to the nearest whole number, and he has it set up to say, hey, you're awesome, and you need more practice, and different things. So he was actually like put a lot of work into making sure that that project worked properly. His grammar and his English skills are not 100% there, but he did a really good job on the backside of it. So then once they are done and they do their gallery walk and they get their feedback, I told them that they could then tweak anything they wanted before they submitted it for grading. And then there's a reflection at the end where they get to, kind of go back over their process and what was hard, what was easy, what they would do differently, how they think other classes could incorporate it, and that kind of stuff. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's great. And how large was the class that participated?
I have a very small group of full-time kids. We have, there's 6 in the pre-algebra class, so it's a tiny group that does that full-time at our site. So I didn't have very many to pick from there, but they all are working on it and excited.
Cool. It's a good way to start, and then don't be surprised if the rumors start spreading and people start saying, oh, are we going to do that next time? And so, because the kids will pick up on that. That was really great.
Oh, thanks.
Anybody have any questions or comments or additions? No? Yeah, that was excellent. Oh, go ahead.
I really liked it. I thought that letting the kids take over and be in charge is spot on, especially letting them practice with it.
Yeah, we originally, when we sat down to do it, we just looked on the community and found a couple of projects that dealt with Pythagorean theorem, and it just so happened that the one we stumbled on had mistakes in it. and it wasn't working right. And so then we had to look inside it and talk about the code and how it should work. So they did a lot of debugging, and I kind of feel like that, if I were to do this from beginning to end again, that's where I would start, is give them, and that's how I design my lesson, is here's a project, there are mistakes in it, debug it. And here's a different project doing something different, mistakes in there, debug it. So that way they get the practice to go into the code, look at it, and figure out what was wrong.
Cool. Yeah, it looked like you almost set it up like a PBL, and with some of the choices and the way that you built it. So that was great.
Thank you.
So nobody else, no comments? Gerald, did you have a comment?
Well, no, I just really, it seems really organized as far as how she has everyone writing down the steps and where they're at and what they're going to be doing, which is one of the things that just organizational wise, you know, I look at that and go, wow, she's really super organized. It, you know, gives me something to kind of look at, especially when you start having kids on computers. You really don't know where everyone's at and where they're going to be. So it's just a really good way of keeping things organized, which is something I struggle with.
Well, that's one of the nice things about all of us being able to see these and sharing out, because there are little things that you guys will pick up on to improve, or just ideas you may never have thought of. So no, this is great. That's why I keep looking forward to these. It's definitely a good one. Actually, Jared just popped in. You missed a good Pythagorean theorem one. So looks like he's driving in the car right now. Hopefully you're not driving, though. Monique is having a little bit of trouble. I would suggest, see if you could maybe log in, or if you just want to sit back and enjoy the ride. All right, who's next? Who wants to?
Since I'm already up, since I'm already talking, I can go ahead.
Great, thanks, Gerald.
Give this a whack. I hope I'm not hitting the wrong buttons, by the way. So we're going to see how this works. So basically, science, 6th grade, we have a, it's called Cell Tic-Tac-Toe, and it allows students to, I give them the research opportunities. They have iPads, they have textbooks, they have an opportunity to, I give them some questions on, you know, how cells work. One of the choices is to actually build a physical cell model out of, typically before this year, we did cells in around October, so it was really nice to have them bring in old Halloween candy that they weren't going to eat, all the garbage that they got, and then we would just turn it into cells and write down what the functions and how it helps the cell. So this year we didn't, so I thought this would be a great segue. The other piece of the whole coding experience that I'm learning is that the coding comes, you can learn the coding, it's the creative part that's really difficult for me. So coming up with an idea, and I can only imagine programmers having the difficulty of trying to come up with ideas. That's got to be one of the hardest things that they do. So one of the choices, instead of making a model, is to, when I'm trying to do the screen share thing. Is my project coming up? Is my project coming up by chance?
No, it's not. Okay,
which button am I hitting? It's telling me share your screen.
Yeah, did you click the little green button on the left? It says share. There you go. Yep.
Yay. Okay. So I the student. Wow, someone's really loud in the background, and I'm trying to figure out why it's not going to the very first screen for me. I guess I should have been playing around when we started. Oh no, see, now I'm buggy. Now I'm getting buggy. Ah! Okay, so I can give you the essence of the program. My son's name is Ethan, and this is basically Ethan's plant cell organelles, and it's a program that is designed and has a lot of bugs in it. That's why I thought going next was probably a pretty good idea. So the program itself is completely buggy. Either there isn't an organelle that's drawn correctly, the program doesn't work like it's supposed to, or there's not enough information on the page. So all the students are going to have to do is find some of the debugging and switch it for me. So the rubric is not necessarily built on having them build a model, but to fix and repair all of the problems with the program and with their understanding of cells. So there's kind of two parts to this. I guess the other thing I need to let you guys know is that we're not a one-to-one school, and this program, coding program, is just coming to our school right now. So it's really kind of a brand new thing at our school. The interest level is really high. Mr. Palmyra is teaching it. He's taking the coding class with us, but there's only going to be 30 kids in the coding class next year. So we're moving at a snail's pace. So I'm going to bump out of this and try to figure out why it's being buggy, because it's been working, of course, all week, and then of course when I do this, it bugs out on me. Of course, why would it work when I want it to work? So that being said, I'm going to be looking over to the other side of the screen and figuring out why my program's not working. So if someone else wants to go while I sort this one out, and then maybe jump back to me.
I'll go if no one else wants to.
Sure. Jump right in. Is that Nicholas?
Nick, yeah, I go by Nick.
Hey, Nick.
So just like Gerald, we just actually got new curriculum for 6th grade science. 7th grade's taking that next year, and 8th grade the year after. So it was a little bit stressful, like trying to figure out how to teach all this stuff along with coding at the same time and like taking this course. But it was a good learning experience. I was able to actually, so I took material that I knew fairly well because I'm trained in life sciences rather than like thermal energy and all that stuff, and I used a subject like that. I don't have it done in a student I did a student exemplar is what I made, but I didn't have my kids do it yet because we just learned this yesterday, so I'm gonna try it tomorrow and see what happens. But I can share my project just to start off. So it's basically what the students had to do. Let me see, now mine's not working. So I do I think this is what I want.
The green button, the second one down. There you go.
So now it's working?
Yep.
So if I go right here, that's it, right?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So what I did was I wanted to challenge the students to actually create a model, a working model of one of the systems of the body. So we've been going through digestive system, circulatory system, nervous system, all these different body systems. And so for the students to actually understand how they work, they'd have to create that model along with the code. So this, I struggle a little bit with Scratch, so this was a challenge for me. I kind of tried to get some inspiration by searching different things and seeing what I could do. So it's a really simple, basically, this would be like a student example. The oxygen goes into the lungs, and then the blood starts to flow. So you can see like the deoxygenated blood flows into the heart or away from it to go pick up more in the lungs. And then the red is the oxygenated blood as it flows through the circulatory system, dropping off. And it will continue to flow. And then at the end, it shows the waste that will actually come out. So carbon dioxide comes out, and then it comes back out through there. So it's a really simple, assignment for like principle-wise, but coding it to work all together. So it challenges them in two ways. To basically, they have to 100% understand the material as well as be able to go through and then create the code that works. So I struggled a little bit. As you can see, my deoxygenated blood cells don't quite look like my oxygenated blood cells. And I'm actually just noticing that. They were circles yesterday. But this is something that, like, as the students work through, they're able to comprehend a little bit more of the material to actually create something that looks like what they need to understand. So and I just finished a degree over at UNLV as well, and it was one of the coursework was a English as a second language class, and it allowed for me to implement a couple different strategies that the students could use, and one of them was visual aids. And so this actually helps a lot with that, letting the students be able to create a visual aid for their material that they're learning in class. And so that's something that I found to be extremely beneficial for myself in creating these things and then showing it to the students as well. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to go over in this as much, but that's kind of what I've created as my final project, which was a student exemplar of one of the body systems.
Now, that was great to get your exposure and comfort level up. Great job, by the way, too, and that's a great simulation. It looked really impressive. So the perfect thing that you did was create that exemplar, because now the students have something to strive for.
Right, they can look at it and see what they need to make too.
And yeah. I'll be wiping that one from you next year.
Please do, yeah. Well, that's why I like the cell one that you did. I was like, man, no more. I'm done with these food cell models. I'm doing
something else. Yeah.
Another thing too with Scratch that we're bringing into our school is, so we just got approval from our principal to start a robotics club. So we're doing first Lego League as well as the first Tech Challenge in our. So I'm at a high school and a middle school. So I'm the lead on the middle school robotics team and then the assistant on the high school robotics team. So we're going to bring Scratch in to get the kids exposed to it and then have them start coding through that to get like Lego League working. We've got, as soon as those the robots show up from Monique, I'm really excited for those to come. I don't know when they're coming, but I hope we get them soon because I want to be able to use those basically right away to get the kids trained on how they can code different things and then create like a streamline of like, this is what the robot needs to accomplish before it can actually be successful. So this has been a great class for me to be able to bring that back to West and use it there a lot.
Well, and if you need any help with anything, I'm the robotics coach at my school at Lawrence, and so I've done it for 3 years. So if you have questions, definitely jump in. And I actually took the first 3 units that we completed, and I had my robotics students, because it's actually a class, it's a STEM class, and we were able to do the first 3 units with my students here, and they loved it. They
Sweet.
Literally walked in the door, grabbed their computer, and started. I did not have to say anything.
That's exactly what, like, we're not a class, we're just an after-school club to start this next year, but we've got to show our principal that it's worth it, and then he'll try to get a class for us as well. But yeah, I'll send you an email and try and get some curriculum from you. Thank you too.
Yeah, really good. I'm going to suggest to Monique that we create an area on Scratch so everybody can have their projects all in one spot, so everybody can steal from each other for hopefully the coming years, not just next year. Any more questions or comments for Nick? Really good.
Thank you.
What I think would be awesome is if you take kind of Kelly's approach and you show them that, and then some of your kids just take it and run, and you'll be blown away by what they end up coming up with.
I'm sure that they're much more tech savvy than I am with this stuff, and they always fix the iPads for me. I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with it, and then they fix it.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. All right. Who I know who wants to go next? Any takers?
I can show you what I've done. Like I said, I had actually scheduled for Saturday, so you can actually see what I've got in mine so far in comparison to what Brittany had it or where she had it the last class.
Great.
Hold on just a second. Hopefully my Mac is going to work here. Can you guys see my project?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So what I did is we're doing chemical reactions because we're now 7th grade, and we are getting the new curriculum next year. So our first, one of the first units that we're getting is, looking at states of matter, and then it rolls into chemical reactions. And one of the big ones that we love doing with the kids is the Diet Coke and the Mentos. And some of the feedback that, as I watched from where Brittany was at, was that we needed to have a little bit more. And so I ended up adding in, I started it off where it's more of like a tutorial for the students, because part of the lesson plan is for the students to see this, but this is over like a 2 or 3 day initially project type. It's more of a PBL where we are looking at it, we're giving a little bit of information, then we're going to actually go in, complete it, the actual demonstration of it as a teacher and then the students are going to go back and it's going to be pretty interactive, going back and having them code and create and develop the Diet Coke and Mentos, where you'll see this at the end, and then from there they're going to actually have to build their own as well. So with this, I have it to where it goes in and it has some information about it. So I'll let it do its thing. But it goes through and it explains, what is a chemical reaction. Then it takes you through a few examples that you'll be able to see with, hold on, sorry. You can tell what time it is at my school. So with this, it talks about what photosynthesis is, and if you see, I do not teach photosynthesis, so if there was an error, please tell me. I've taught this portion before with the iron oxide. We talk about that. And then we get into the actual portion of it. Is it going to kick over? There it is. Okay. So with this, I'm trying to get it to where we can do different levels with the Mentos. So if I add like 1 Mento, right now it's at 1 Mento. I'm trying to figure out how to get it to, if I do 2 Mentos, where the level would be versus 5 Mentos or a pack of Mentos. So if you click on the Mentos, it'll go in and show the chemical reaction that occurs. And then from there. And so at this point, once this is done, then the students are then going to go ahead and start looking at it. Part of this is we are an AVID school, and we use AVID strategies, and so some of the strategies are coming in where they have to do the I wonder statements. I wonder what's going to happen, and then they have to make predictions about the scenario. So we're going to do this portion first, and we're going to actually take them out, complete the actual demonstration, and then come back in and talk about it, and then we'll move forward where they actually have to, right here for their requirements, they'll be able to model it. Is it Diet Coke versus Diet Pepsi? What did we actually find? Then they are going to have to create their own model within Scratch. We did develop a grading rubric for it, for the students to actually go in and code everything. And then for them, they have to have a project description of how they want to do this and what's going to need to happen with them. So this is what I've gotten done so far. There's just a little bit more that I wanted to add into this. Other than that, I'm just about done.
Cool. Great job. Thanks for sharing.
Okay, now how do I unclick it?
Yep.
Okay.
And so now, how many people were in your group that was working?
There were 3 of us. When we first came up with the idea, Brittany showed the raw bones of what we had. And then with the feedback, I've gone back and have actually extended it and developed it even further than where we were.
Great. Any questions, comments for Stacy?
I just want to say that is super cool, and having the foam come out of the Diet Coke, how long did that take you?
I didn't do it. It was a remix.
Okay.
We found one. We only took that small section. The students was extremely interactive, and I didn't want to take all of hers. I wanted to be able to do the rest from there. But let the students be able to see what is available and what you could do. Okay, can I screen share it again or go back so that you can see how many different costume changes that took? It was crazy to look at the costume for that. Give me just a second. I'm gonna screen share this once more. Give me a sec. So you can see that there are, I believe, 26. So 27. So you can see all of the different levels. And so that's where I wanted to go back in and mess around with it and see what I could do with it on my own level. But
was that like how you were saying you wanted to like make it go higher if it was
yes.
5 or whatever?
Yeah. So, and you know, because that one was just showing one, but what I wanted to do is, okay, the reality is we're going to have a little bit of foam when we do one, and when you do a whole pack, it's 5-6 feet tall when we actually go in and complete the Diet Coke versus Mentos. Because I've done it, I taught 8th grade physical science, and I've done that before. So we actually did it to where it was, we did Diet Coke, we did Diet Pepsi, and then we did generic, like Walmart brand, and then we did a diet like Fanta Orange type. And we actually found that when we did it, Diet Pepsi actually was higher than Diet Coke. So we wanted them to be able to go in and really explore what happens. So we would have an opportunity for the students to actually explore it, investigate it, and then come back in and recreate that on scratch so that they could make an interactive for the student, for other students.
Cool, great. It's a lot cleaner that way too.
Yeah.
Looks like Stylianos had a question. How many Mentos do you actually use?
We use a full pack, which is what? I think there's 10 or 12 Mentos in there. But boy, let me tell you, we bought 3 cases, and we ended up going through all 3 cases in 5 of my classes.
Wow. Right.
I don't think he wanted to hear my bus announcements again.
Cool. So any other questions, comments? Maybe make it a game too. You can have the Coke bottle move, and you got to drop the Mentos into the Coke bottle. Great. Okay, so Stylianos, are you ready to go? We don't hear you though. Do you? Oh, no audio. Okay. Not sure how we're gonna be able to do this.
Have you tried clicking the top of your screen where it's mute microphone?
What about the gear? Did you try that to see if it's working? Nope, we can't hear you. Yeah, I thought we heard you earlier. Can you call Monique, and she'll go ahead? Actually, well, Or you could actually, I'm trying to think, how could we do this? Actually, Gerald, are you ready to wrap up yours yet?
Yeah, it was something really silly, and I don't know why I didn't save when I was working on it, but I can just kind of talk you guys through that while you guys are working out the
Okay, great.
audio
Yeah,
thing.
let's do that then, Stylianos. Let's try to figure something out while Gerald's finishing.
Sweet. All right. So yay, it was something silly. All I needed to do was switch the backdrop to the first page. That's all it was doing. So the kids are going to have an opportunity to just go ahead and go through. And again, it's a debugging, so it gives them an opportunity to just kind of go through programs and fix what's wrong. So all you do is pick on any one of the organelles that's going to point to it. So this one doesn't have a definition for what a vacuole is. And I, of course, how long is it supposed to sit and last until it goes back to the main page. You can click on another one, chloroplasts. And again, the kids have an opportunity to kind of make it function correctly. There's one last backdrop that the kids have to do. I've added on that there was one more backdrop, and it's their choice to go ahead and choose another organelle or choose something else to add to it. So not only do they get to debug, but I get to see what they're doing as far as their knowledge or understanding of the function of cells and how they help the cell in whole. I tried to keep everything kid-like with drawing, but then again, I can't draw really well anyway, so cells are kind of nice because it's more of an abstract thought since they're microscopic. So it's kind of fun and kid-like, and it even looks kid-like when it's finished. But all they would have to do is put it in a folder to me, and I would just go ahead and debug and give them feedback based on the rubric that I created, which was basically just can you get it to work? Did you find all the bugs? Did you get all of the understanding of the cell organelle parts? So I think it'll be a lot of fun. The kids have a week to do this project, so they have to do this one plus 2 other ones, and they have classroom time and of course homework time. So it's a lot of fun. It should be a lot of fun. I haven't tried it. Next year I will definitely be trying it.
Great. Just make sure you share the your student samples.
Yeah.
So that's where the fun parts are.
Richard, I wonder if you have audio now? Oh,
Yes,
okay.
you do.
Looks like you
Yay.
do. Okay, good.
Great. Any final questions though for Gerald, real quick? Any comments, questions? All right. Well, Stylianos, you're on.
All right, guys. I apologize. I have an echo. I'm using 2 different. I'm using a PC and I'm using a laptop. And on my laptop, when I first initially logged in, it showed me that it was some sort of complication with the app, the Google app. Anyway, I really enjoy everything I saw, and I'm taking a little bit of a pause after I speak because I have echo. I don't know how to minimize.
Try muting the one computer that doesn't have your audio working.
I guess it has to be the one that has a screen. So let's see. Microphone not detected. I don't know. I think we got it a little bit. I still have a little bit of a delay. Anyway, before we lose the screen, let's get going to the business. So I guess I gotta go to the green arrow. But I don't see my project coming up. Might be on the other one. Screen share. All right, so how do I get to my project?
Do you have a browser window open?
Sure do.
And then did you click the green screen share button in the Hangout?
Let's do that. All right. Let's see if you guys can see what I see. All right. All right, can you, hold on.
So when you click the green screen share, you
Yeah.
should see a little box pops up, right? That lets you pick which window.
Hold on, so you don't see it?
No.
Okay. The little green screen is going to be on the under the blue one, right?
Yes.
Maybe it's on my other computer. Let's see.
And then you should get a little window that pops up.
Yeah. A lot of delays. Let's see.
Oh, we lost them. We somehow went to Jared. Hey, Monique, you could join on your phone and just hide the video if you want. That way you can talk to us. All right, well, while we wait for him, hopefully he'll be back on. Anybody have any questions or comments just about this whole experience or process or suggestions? Anything? It's still a large group that needs to present, so.
I was going to say, I kind of wish we would have met maybe like 1 or 2 more times just to like kind of like brain swap, just like a meeting of the minds to see like what was problems we were having, because I would like run into issues and had like really nobody to like bounce ideas off of all the time. So that would have been cool to just meet like 1 or 2 more times, even if it was just an optional meeting.
And I agree. I think maybe even meeting together so we can just be in person and share together. I don't know. I mean, this is cool. But
like brainstorming like 6th grade teachers, like we could have all got together and been like, hey, this is what I'm doing. What are you doing?
Yeah, that would have been. Yeah, that would be nice.
I had to use one of my 7th graders to help me because I seriously was working on the rainbow on one of the units, and I seriously worked 3 hours and it was not working, and
I hated that one.
I had to have my 7th grader. I was like, what's the problem? What does that matter? And he goes, oh, well, you just have to divide it. I was like, what? 3 hours. 3 hours I spent on this thing. And that was what it was. I just needed to drag in the divide. And just, I was like, oh, man. So, yes, my 7th grader was the one that helped me debug anytime I had a problem.
Great. Yeah, that's usually, the kids are usually good for that. And yes, Monique, we can hear you.
Wow, look at that.
Just in time, because it looks like Stylianos is back, so.
Well, I don't know if I'll stay in there, but I'm trying.
Hopefully. So, Stylianos, are you ready?
I don't know how things are but I know you can hear me.
Yep.
Is there any way someone can pull up my project and I can talk you through?
Well, I
got the screen share.
Okay. And did you get a little small
okay. Hold on. Let's see
white
if I-
box that popped up once you clicked the screen share?
Yeah, it says Google Plus Hangouts, screen share for Hangouts. Select a window to show in the video call.
Right. And did you select one?
Oh, it might be further down. Let's see. Anyone?
Well, the one that has your project. So if you have multiple windows open, you're going to want to make sure you grab the right one.
It doesn't pop up. The one that opened up with my project, it didn't pop up. So let's see where it might be hiding.
Well, is it on just another tab on one of those windows?
It is on another tab.
That's fine. So if you can just get to that browser, so when you click the share, click whatever browser window that has that tab, and then you could change the tab once it's loaded.
I'll try that. Let's see. Share. Can you see it now?
No.
Nope.
Not yet. Ooh, that's frustrating.
Sorry,
Let's
guys.
see.
With the phone, I can't mute my coworker.
In the text or the chat message, could you post the link in there, the URL address, and maybe we can run it that way?
If my screen can change to that. Yeah, this is what I see, guys.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
This is taken from my laptop. I
Yeah,
guess.
you got the infinite window of.
Well, you got a mess. You got very messy.
So what
Multiple
you
screens.
do? Okay, here's the best way to do it. Open up a different browser window. Don't
Okay.
use the same one
I'm
as
good.
your Hangout.
I'm using Firefox. So go to.
That's fine. Just make sure it's not the one that has your Hangout on it, because when you share your screen with your Hangout window, you go into that infinite loop,
Okay. All right.
the black hole.
Okay.
There we go.
Oh.
Oh. Nope, we lost you. All right, hopefully we're able to get him back up. But so in regards to some of your comments, yeah, that would have been great. But also don't forget, you have that forum, so definitely reach out. I'm sure there are other people. If three of you guys already in here are saying the same thing, that you would like to meet, reach out to those people in there. I know it's short notice now and your projects are done, but I'm sure that other people would be willing to meet up. And in the future, too, don't be afraid to reach out, because we can always do Hangouts here and there. And if you have a group of, let's say, 6th, 7th grade teachers, and there's 5 or 6 of you, and you want to do a Hangout and go over particular topics, feel free.
Yeah. I agree. And I've actually had a few people, I got to take the headset off, it was echoing. A few people have reached out to me, and I've put them together to assist because they were having a hard time. So definitely use that group in the community group, and if you're having a hard time connecting with somebody, shoot me off an email and we'll hook it up.
Anybody else have any?
I was just going to say, Monique, you mentioned that this is continuing next year, right?
Well, I'm hoping.
Okay. So would we have like additional projects and stuff like that?
Yeah, what's happening is I've written a grant that continues this course, and you, in particular, Nick, will be teaching part of the code curriculum through the grant if it gets approved. So we're going to work with the same group of people, and then I also will have hopefully, well, I don't know about hopefully, but I'll have another course that is a STEM. It's called STEAM, Full Steam Ahead. We're working on creating a whole new course, and that'll be open for one person, for 60 people as well. So if you wanted to double dip and do both of the grant, parts of the grant, you could. But yeah, it won't have the same goodies attached to it, but there will be stuff.
So how would that work? Because I actually teach a STEM class now, currently, and that's incorporated in with the robotics.
Yeah. Did you say you teach one now?
I teach STEM right now, currently, as an elective.
So you could still partake in that one grant if you wanted to.
Okay.
Because it comes with, like, I think I wrote Chromebooks or something in there, and then it would have the resources and the curriculum. I don't know. We'll know in July.
I was gonna say, will you send us out an email so like more info? Because I'm definitely interested too.
Yeah, no, you guys are on the short list. As soon as I know, you guys will know first.
Cool.
Before the district gets the notice. He's laughing. This is
All right.
horrible. I must say.
Stylianos, it looks like we have your screen, so if you want to go ahead,
Woohoo!
unmute and take over.
Okay, we get the screen, but no audio now.
I think he is using two computers because one of his computers doesn't have a microphone, and that's the one that he has hooked up to his screen.
Hey, Jared's laughing at us. That's just mean. We're doing really well.
Yeah, I think last time we were starting about this time, so we're definitely way ahead of the game.
Yar.
Let's see if we can. Stylianos, can you hear us? Use the chat if you can hear us. So, can you unmute your microphone? We can see your screen now.
Oh, he can hear us.
Yeah,
See, I speak.
we just can't hear you, so if you can unmute yourself.
That mic may not, I mean, that computer may not have a mic because I'm trying to unmute him. Oh, wait a minute. He's on another computer.
I feel like the Verizon guys. Can you hear me now?
Yep, you're on.
All right. Now, how do we get the project going? I can see it here, but I don't see it going.
What? You have to click on it. On the computer, it's on. So the
Okay.
Yeah,
So
there
now
you
I can work on my own screen, right?
Yep, there you go. You're up.
Can you
You're
see it?
running. Yes.
Okay, so I'm a math teacher, and my kids have difficulty with integers, so I came with an idea how to use their fingers to find the answers to integer addition. So what we have here is they can choose 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if they face up, they're positive. The computer will face all the fingers down. So we have only positives and only negatives so far. The player selection is us. The sum is the answer. And the computer selection is what the computer will choose. So let's try a couple of those and let's see what's going to happen. So I'm going to choose 1, positive 1. -1. The student has time to think about the answer, and then you get the verification. So -1, +1, the answer is 0. Let's try another one. Guessing time. So that's +5 and -3, and the answer was, all right. So that's the idea behind. The program is a little bit demanding to create, but I think with the right class of students, they should be able to move to the next level, which is to have positive and negative for both players, so to speak. So this has no end. It has a beginning, and you can play for a long, long time. So let's try a couple more and see if you guys can guess. 2 positives, 3 negatives, -1. 0, -5, -5. But that's about it. If you want to look at the code, you can look inside. I hope you heard the whole presentation and we didn't have any more interruptions.
No, that was good.
All righty. All right.
So one question I have,
Sure.
are you planning on using this as an enrichment with the students,
All
or
right, good question. My principal wants to use the coding instead of explorations. Explorations in my school has been used as secondary math class for the low-level students. So that's the plan. I'm a little bit concerned about the level of competency, because coding is not something that's always that easy. As a matter of fact, it might be getting the conception down for about 10% of the project and maybe spend 90% debugging it or perfecting it. And those of you guys that you made comments before, I mean, you know it's very true. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did, and thanks for sharing. And yes, debugging is an integral part. It is a large part, but it's also one of those components that really helps build that memory and understanding of the topic. Because if it's not working and you need to make it work, you really have to know the topic. And I think it was Nick that said it before, that you have to really know it in order to make it work. You can't just guess at it. Any questions or comments?
I really like the thought process with this, because I know I've taught 7th and 8th grade algebra or pre-algebra and 7th grade math before, and let me tell you, the integers for some students, they struggle exponentially with, and this is a really good way for them to practice.
Yeah, I remember. Anybody else? Great comment. Anybody else?
Yeah, I would say that maybe I think it's a great concept. I like that idea, especially having worked with all different level kids. My background's in special education too, so I think that maybe if you make it more the hands clearer, if you guys are going to do that type of thing, then the graphics are going to be pretty important. So you might want to reach out and maybe collaborate with either some kids that are really strong at graphics to make it more visually so that they can see the different hands, because the hands are, or maybe make the hands larger, because there was that whole big screen and then there were just the little hands. Maybe just something like that, because I think it'll make it more interesting for the kids.
Yeah, I think larger would definitely help on that. Also, too, it's hard because we're only seeing such a small portion of the screen. But that's no, I definitely like the concept. One other question, and you could put it in the text chat because I know you logged out with the microphone. But so the actual sum, were you entering that in that bottom text field? I'm assuming yes, but I think on my screen it was a little delayed. So, and in regards to teaching integers with math, yes, it's definitely one of those topics that sometimes students struggle with, even as adults, because I teach still at the community college, and sometimes we still have issues there. One suggestion might be, for those of you interested in doing something with integers in the future, think of movement. So on a screen, the students can relate to objects moving right and left or up and down, and that might be an easy way to gamify it in a sense where visually, but the students are moving forward and back to try to see where their final placement will be, and it might give them a little bit more of a visual of what's happening with the numbers. So keep that in mind too. All right, anybody else? Any questions? Jared, you want to chime in and give your feedback from an outsider, or you're not able to?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, thanks for letting me be a part of this. All of you that don't have any idea who I am other than I look like Rich's brother. Yeah, interesting. I'm a former math teacher and a tech director now, and so I kind of wanted to sneak in here and take a look at the projects you were putting together, and Rich cordially invited me. So really cool. You guys have done some really neat stuff that I would never have thought of, and I guess now I've got a whole bunch of brand new friends that I can kind of pick their brains and pick up some of this Scratch stuff that I'm probably not super qualified to help with, but if any of you did want to get together and you had some of those questions during one of these sessions and whatnot, I would gladly come out and meet with you and help. I know just enough to be dangerous, but definitely not enough to make your projects shine like you've done today. So thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I am based out of Las Vegas, so unlike Rich, who's sitting in Austin right now, I'm here with you. So maybe I'll show up to the next session, Monique, if you'll invite me.
Great, thanks, Jared. I'm glad you were able to make it. So, and yeah, he's a great resource. He's in your city, so don't be afraid to reach out. Monique, we'll have to add him to the group so people have access. All right, anybody else? Any questions? No questions, comments? Monique is frozen, but all right, well, thank you guys for sharing. It was definitely great. I'm looking forward to the next group. I think we have some on Saturday coming up, so if you guys want to pop in and watch what's doing, feel free to jump in. We'll make sure that we share the link somewhere, probably in the forum, so you guys can come and watch.